We've never seen a force like this.
Lovely to see you. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, really nice to see you. My friend directed you in The Birdcatcher.
Oh, Ross.
Yeah.
Oh.
Such a good film. You were
Yeah,
brilliant in it.
I wanted to see him this time, but I'm only here till like tomorrow morning.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Can't squeeze it in, but yeah, well done. Well done on this. Dune, right? What fun. How was that moment when you got the call up to say, hey, would you be interested?
I think I was changing my son's nappy at the time.
Oh, yeah.
No, my daughter's it would have been.
Right.
Yeah, because my son wasn't even born, which is crazy to think of. That was like 2 years ago. But I got the call and it was kind of one of them, I'm going to have to go take this, And didn't really expect it because I hadn't done a bunch of callbacks or anything. It was kind of just a tape that went off. And yeah, got the call and then came back into the room, white as a sheet,
Wow. Booked
it. And it was celebrations. And then you have the excitement of, I'm going to be in Dune, to the nerves of, I'm going to be in Dune. So it was a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, I had almost just seen Dune Part 1, Denis Villeneuve, and was blown away by it. So, and when I auditioned, I didn't even know it was for Dune. I found out before a meeting I had with the creators of the show, and that's when I read the first episode and was just blown away by that as well. And I was so intrigued with Rebecca Ferguson's character, Lady Jessica, in the film. I mean, amazing actress. So to be part of the origin story of the Bene Gesserit was so cool, and just the way it was written, I was just. Yeah, we're very lucky with the script.
What did they call it? What was it? Was it yours? Did you know it was Dune when you
So I don't know I forget what it was. It was like Untitled it came through as, which is the usual thing.
And they said it was
the
TV
characters
show, right?
Guessing there weren't any sandworms or anything like distinguishing. No spies, no sandworms.
I auditioned for a different character first, and I forget, one of the names was like Dimitri. And I was like, all right, Dimitri, what are we doing? And then the callback came for a different character, and he was like Alexander, and you're like, Alexander. And then it was only like 2 days before I booked it, I got a text saying, it's Dune, by the way. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, so it was a bit of a headbender.
Yeah, literally, like the series is a headbender.
Yeah.
Which is, did you have to like suddenly then go, right, I need to now look through all the books and the whole sort of...
Well, I mean, because the timeline is so far away from
10,000 years,
exactly.
right? They're saying,
yeah.
Give or take.
10,000 years and change.
And change, yeah.
So I mean, I love the film. So like in terms of tone and like just enjoying them, being a fan of them, I watch them again. But a lot of it, because of the scripts, are so well written. So a lot of it for me was on the page and through conversations with Alison Shapka, who knows everything about Dune.
Yeah. And where we take places, right after this kind of Dune the Sisterhood book.
Yeah, I read
so it was great to be able to go back to there, and that's got so much like history that informs a lot of our characters and families.
Yeah.
So it was important to separate the movie and and be like, hey, great movie, but we're doing something very different and fresh.
Yeah.
So what was that kind of formative moment when you were discussing the mythology and the characters and the script, and that first sort of moment, okay, I'm doing an HBO show. What's on the page? What do I want to bring, as my own sort of personalizations?
Yeah,
go on ahead.
Yeah, well, I felt like the way that the characters are written are so like you really, they're very different, but you get to see so many different sides to every one of them. So I feel like so much just in that and through conversations. If we had any questions about backstory or about the family's backstory, Alison Shapka, was always there to answer any of our questions. But it was also kind of cool to create an original character that still feels
very much part of the lore already. I think for me there was a moment of doing all the work. Finally comes to, we've been there a month, we've been doing the sword training and stuff. Finally get to my first scene, and you turn up to set and go, oh, okay, this is it. This is where whatever I do now becomes part of my character forever. And that nerve was in before, and Alison would always make an effort to come to set for anyone's first day. And I kind of had to have that moment of like, hey, look, this way I'm going with the character. And we'd spoken about it before, but you have that nervous, we're sure? And she's like, it's going to be great. And then you get your first couple of takes out and you start to go and you gauge director reaction and stuff and you go, okay. And then, in contrast, by the end of film and you turn up and you're like, I know where I am.
Yeah.
You've got
So
your character. It's that whole arc.
I think getting over that first hurdle is always interesting in any job, but this one especially.
Yeah.
What about working with the different directors then? Because it's something, as actors you have to deal with all the time. It's like it's a new director on a different block, or you might be moving blocks throughout the shooting. How do you manage that? Is it kind of, because it's like you said, by the end, it's your character, you're in there.
Yeah.
What's the process? Is there a process for you on that?
Because of the way we shot, because there was like the strikes and stuff happening, we had a lot of a few days where you would turn up and have one director in the morning, a different director in the afternoon, and another director in the evening, which I've never done. And I think that's super rare.
Yeah.
So you would just have to, obviously you've done your work on your script, so you know where you are. Mm-hmm. And we were so lucky with the directors.
So nice,
They're all very different.
Yeah.
Kind of alarmingly different in their own ways, but all so nice and so forthcoming and really collaborative.
Yeah.
And it felt seamless considering it was such a big change.
Well, what is the process for like talking directors? Do you get much time to sort of discuss with each one? I mean, not in this case, but in general, do you get to have many sort of conversations beforehand, or is it more through Alderson?
I think on this one, we're so lucky that Alderson always made herself available, and she again, she's such a fan of Dune and loves Dune and knows everything about it. So to have her available for conversations was such a gift. And then we actually got to have rehearsals as well with her and the directors.
Yeah,
and
sometimes
Jordan.
it would work out where miraculously there was time for one director and you were able to go and rehearse those scenes.
Yeah.
We had a couple of good rehearsals together, so it was... we got lucky with that. So.
Yeah. Especially for the big setups, because there's one scene that took us 4 days filming, which is a huge a lance rod scene with a lot of people in it, and so it was.
Richard Lewis was the director for that, and I've never seen anyone so prepared for something. He came in and he just years of experience right there. It was amazing.
Yeah, that must have been interesting to watch.
It really was.
Yeah, because you've both done indie films as well, and the difference, and obviously we worked together on indie film, and the difference between that and then seeing, like you said, Richard come along with this sort of full
storyboards, big panels, everything was laid out. Talk to everyone. This scene is got to be 5 or 6 main characters all meet head on in a big train crash of everything happening in one big room with 250 extras. So. There was a lot.
And a humble set as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, super humble. Yeah. So, it was. I remember, hats off to Richard and his team for how they did that and did it efficiently and did it on time, and it looks great as well.
It's one of my favorite scenes in the show. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just any moments that were particularly challenging or tough overall.
Well, I think a challenge, but it was also but it was a fun challenge, was definitely the physicality of the job.
Any fight scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot. We had a good couple together. And I think the work you put in any day you're not filming, you stunt training, and we did so much of that together.
Yeah.
And then we get to set, and then your adrenaline kicks in, and you almost have to pull yourself back because you don't want to go too fast and hurt anyone. So but we got it down in the end.
Yeah, and the feeling afterwards where you're all of these hours in repetition, just it paid off because we can actually do it now, which was very nice.
I wouldn't duel either of you.
I'd be useless if you came at me with a sword now. I wouldn't know what to do.
Same.
Choreography is very different.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very different.
When you're watching at home.
Exactly. And finally, just that little bit of advice of someone who's auditioning all the time. They're trying to find work. They're doing it, and then things that might work now. Looking back, you sort of go, okay, that will work.
Well, I think. It sounds so cliche, but I think. And it can be very hard because it is a tough industry, and just getting having work as an actor is a privilege, and so I think finding a way to have fun with it, because the best ideas, I think, and being in the moment is when you enjoy it.
Relax.
And relax, and that can be hard if you're at a period where you haven't worked for a while, or just your self-esteem is low or whatever. But I think it's really important to rediscover your love for the craft. Mm-hmm. And figure out some way to just have fun with it.
I think off the back of that, I got advice from an actor called Aidan Quinn, who's phenomenal actor, and I got to work with him very closely for a while. And at the end of it, I said, you know me now, what's the piece of advice? And he said, just do everything. Do everything you can. A table read, poetry reading. If someone's doing a stand-up comedy night, go and see it, go and see stuff, read. And it stuck with me of like, you can never learn enough in this business. I'm sure even Emily and all those would say the same thing of like, you never stop learning. So you make an effort to go out and do those things, read a friend's script, write something, just try and do everything you can, because storytelling, it's never going to stop. It's always going to evolve, and there's always something to learn and something to gain from it. So that would be my piece.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Sarah-Sofie, Chris Mason. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.